Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to, I'm not sure if this is RE/MAX West's first ever pre-construction introduction to pre-construction seminar. I've obviously never done one myself, although having participated in several pre-construction projects and sold a lot to my clients, bought and sold. I've actually never had a seminar on it, so welcome. We're going to be expecting Sunny to join us shortly, but I did tell Sunny yesterday that I was going to lead off on this seminar. Actually, what I want to really do is just kind of, put out some terminology out there that I think people that are new to pre-construction should probably be aware of.
Good morning, Charles. By the way, I am here.
Oh, you are there. Sunny, welcome.
Thank you.
Have you got your camera on?
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking for you. There you, yeah, I got you. Okay. I haven't seen you in 2 years.
I know, it's been a while. It's been so long.
What you look like.
First of all, Charles, thank you so much for having me to your webinar, and thank you to all your guys for joining today.
Oh, it's our pleasure to have you. Thank you for agreeing to do this, because you know what, sometimes it's hard to get some of you guys to sort of share. Sharing is hard.
I know, but I'm.
So anyway, as I was saying, I'm glad that Sunny's sitting right there for you all to see in the flesh. I'm going to go through some terminology here, and Sunny, what I'm going to do is after I go through some of this, and once I plant the terminology, you obviously know the terminology because you're a veteran at pre-construction. But I think a lot of the people that are joining us today either have never done it, have only done it once, or are looking to do it. So we have I'm just looking at some of the names that have joined our seminar here today. And for the ones that I do know, I can sort of predict that we have a wide range of experiences on this call. So you being the obvious senior person on it, I think everyone in this call will have something to benefit from your experiences and what we're offering today. Okay, so before I bring you in, Sunny, I really want you to talk about allocation. It's almost like it's like the taboo word out there. How do people get allocation? So you're gonna weigh in and tell us how all that works. In the process of allocations, how do worksheets work? Right? Why do we need worksheets? What comprises the criteria of how a builder selects one worksheet over another? Okay, we're going to talk about deposit structures. I know that's controversial, right? We're going to talk about deposit structures and how in pre-construction deposit structures can vary so widely from builder to builder to builder. Some people use the deposit structure to incentivize the purchase, right? And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the infamous clawback clause. We all want to make money, but what is a clawback clause? What is RE/MAX West's position on clawback clauses? Okay, economic viability clause, another controversial one, right? We recently had some condominium projects that decided not to follow through for various reasons. So how does that economic viability clause, how do you spot one in an agreement of purchase and sale? Whether that's a question that you should be asking the builder before bringing your client and putting in an offer on that particular project. We're going to touch really briefly on the Condominium Act, a few key points about how the Condominium Act weighs in the government regulations. What is a cooling off period, which is contained inside the Condominium Act? Why do we give people 10 days to cool off, right? Declaration and bylaws. So, you successfully get an agreement accepted, and what are the responsibilities of the builder to declare when they give you that package, and right, how you sign off on that. The components of a status certificate, we're going to touch just briefly on, even though in pre-construction there is technically no status certificate, but we're going to weigh in on how that kind of weighs in. And related to that, on closing, especially with pre-construction, things that have crept up over the years that I've been doing this, things like developmental surcharges, how they've changed over the years, whether you should negotiate that as an agent at the point of sale. We're going to talk about the other levies that are involved that buyers never seem to be made aware of by their agent or by the builder. They got to pay for this levy. They got to pay for that levy. Reserve fund contributions. This is actually a newer one from when back in the day I was, they never did reserve fund contributions right off the get-go. Now I see builders throwing in extra money, charging it to the buyer to prop up that reserve fund on closing. And, you know, obviously that makes the closing costs a little bit higher. Let's talk briefly about carry-on warranties and how they'll weigh in after post-closing, and how here's a big word, assignments. How do you assign pre-construction? And what happens when there are upgrades that weren't accounted for, and so on and so forth. Does that sound like a whole bunch of terms that we could sort of go over? Is that enough for you?
Lot of questions there, lot of questions, but let's focus on the most important. How do you get the allocation? It's not easy with pre-con, especially a new guy coming in and asking the builder. Let's say you are a builder, all right? You have 300 units to sell. You have sales process. Of course, you have marketing team. You will first reach out to your employees and your friends and family. They might buy 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 units. And then you'll reach out to your guys, past guys who have supported you again and again and again over the years or months, or some of your top producers who have sold maybe 10, 20, 30 units for you. So they get the heavy allocation. Depending, it could be 10 units, it could be 15 units, it could be 7 units. So they get the hard allocation. And these are the guys who are taken care of. If they want more unit, okay, fine. Here are 3 or 4 more units to thank you for your support over the years. Now, somebody who doesn't have that rapport with the developer, or doesn't have, he or she has not done any production with the builder, it will be tough. And builder use them to create hype. For example, a project I was working on, builder got 1,400 worksheets for 200 units.
Wow.
Okay, forget about that. Beginning of this year, I was working on a project called Nuvo 2 in Oakville, 163 units. And I have a screenshot, builders shared the screenshot of how many worksheets they got. They got 1,360 worksheets.
Oh my God.
What do you do? So all the allocation goes to their supporters. So we got, small project, we didn't have 20 units, but we had 5 units in the beginning, and we got 1 more units to sell. Hard allocation. And there were a lot of agents, they were calling, can you assist us? We didn't get anything. I was like, yeah, it's a small project. But then exchange project, builder had 600 units there. We got 20 units to sell, because and then there were other agents, they didn't have any, they haven't done any production with the builder, they didn't get anything. So we actually went and helped those agents get some units. So as in our office.
So Sonny, I think a lot of us, especially on this call, have brought worksheets to builders at various points in time and experienced exactly what you just mentioned. Our worksheets did not get accepted. Now, you were one of our top, maybe still are, one of our top pre-construction agents in the company. I know you won the award back in, I believe it was 2018, right? What was your journey like in developing that business relationship with various builders? Can you explain what you had to do, what you had to sacrifice in order to get to be where you are today?
Okay, I'll share how can one be a platinum agent with the builder. This is what I have done, and this is what anybody here can do. What we tend to focus on is on the hot launches, where there's so much hype. Anybody, as per the builder, anybody from the street can sell a unit because there's so much hype. Those are not the projects you focus on. You focus on where the developer has sitting inventory. You go in, do something creative, do some sort of marketing campaign, do some numbers. And this is what I have done back in the day. I got lucky too. It was 2008 recession time. No, people were like, what's going on? And I was bringing my clients. I had the investor mindset. I was like, this is the time to buy. And builder they were like, who is this guy? Like, all our top guys are not able to produce. Who is this guy? He's doing the numbers here. That's how I was able to get in when nobody was selling, and I supported the builders and I made my name. This is what anybody can do. So they pick the development, any development they have, not in the initial stages, not at the launch, where there's a second or third or fourth round of sales where it's slow. They do have sitting inventory. Go there, speak to the salesperson. Hey, you know what? You have X amount of units, and there's so many projects out there. I can give you a list of 10 projects. They have sitting inventory, and the developer need help. And if you can go in there, do 4, 5, 6 units, they will love you. They'll be like, who is this guy doing the number? And when they do get the next project, you will have access at the initial stage when there's so much hype and it's easy to sell.
So let's talk about your experience when you saw that there was sitting inventory in one of the builders' developments. Like, you went in, and what did you do? Did you advertise it? Did you use word of mouth, direct mailing campaign? What did you do? What did you physically do to get those units sold?
See, Charles, nowadays finding clients are super easy. Back in the day, in 2006, 7, 8, we didn't have the tools that we have today. Uh, Facebook, Instagram, it wasn't there. So it was, we used to do, radios, flyers, newspapers, word of mouth. So I remember 2008, there was this project, Charlie Condos on King Street by Great Gulf.
I saw it in there, yeah.
428 Charlotte is the address,
Yes, 8 Charlotte,
I took, first I took my uncle, then I took my cousin, then I went there and bought myself, then I took my tenant, then I took a couple more people. It was word of mouth. And all of a sudden, it was recession time. They were offering great incentives. And all of a sudden, I have like 6, 7 deals, and builder, none of the platinums or their VIPs were able to produce. And that's how I got their attention. And the next project came, it was November 25th of 2009, X2 Condos by Great Gulf. Long lineups. If somebody Googles X2 Condos, they'll see there were long lineups and media was there. That was my reward. I got the access to the X2 Condos. And again, I sold a good amount of units there, but I had to sell at Charlie sitting inventory during the recession time when nobody was able to sell.
It's funny that you mentioned Charlie, because my client bought it at Charlie as well. But they were offering great incentives at that time, which is why he was able to buy. Right. But it's amazing how it's in the theater / club district, but it's a little bit off the beaten path. It was a little far from where the hype was. And a lot of people frowned upon that particular development because it was it's across the street from Mountain Equipment Co-op. So I thought it was a great location, but that's subjective. So I do remember that project, and you're absolutely right. I remember even when Concord ADEX had that promotion during the recession, where they were going to invite the first 20 people that lined up. They were going to give them a wristband and give them 20% off any unit they had in inventory. You remember that? That was
good old days.
I was in that line.
Yeah.
But that's what the recession was like, right?
And people, when we went and spoke to people, they're like, you're crazy. You're asking us to buy now. Look at the banks are going bankrupt. Look at what is happening around the world, and you're asking us to buy. So that was the mindset of all the investors, or most.
Yeah. So that's a great piece of advice. I think that if you want a good business relationship, yes, you know what? When times are good, everybody needs us, right? When times are bad, where were you? So I think that's something that people have to put in the back of their heads. And you're right. Like, there's a lot of fringe inventory that isn't necessarily easy to sell, but if you're able to bring an agreement of a purchase and sale on any one of those fringe items, inventory, I believe the builder will look at you differently. So that's a great piece of advice.
There's so many developments, as you said, like these guys can Google, or I can share the information. Manderley Condos, I got the email yesterday. Scout Condos, they're offering 5% deposit, but the product is from 900,000 and up. Manderley condos do have 600, 700,000 price point. Anybody can go in, and they're offering great incentives. It just, yes, it's a bit tough. Hype is not there. It's the hype that sells. So hype is not there. If anybody can go in and create their own hype, these guys will love you. And the next project, you'll have the access.
Excellent, excellent. Now, let's say we do find one of these, projects. We have a client, obviously. I don't think you're absolutely right. There's no shortage of buyers, and we've all got buyers. The problem is we're trying to keep the buyer by showing them something to buy. With the fringe markets, they have incentivized, which is my next topic, on deposit structures. What creative deposit structures had you come across with your builders that incentivizes people to come in and bring an offer?
See, what you're going to find is with all the developments, deposits, extended deposit structure, it could be 15% payable in installments of 5 or 6 over 500 days or 2 years. I've seen 2 years. There was this one development, it was 15% spread out in 1,000 days.
Wow.
But mostly we see 15% spread out in 500 or 600 days. That's pretty much standard with most developers. And then free assignment or $1,000 for the assignment fee, and then permission to lease during occupancy, cap development charges. These are 4 incentives that we see in every single development.
Hold that thought on assignment fees. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, okay? That's exciting. Now, let's say you're able to find a buyer, you successfully get the builder to accept the agreement, okay? And we as real estate agents would like to get paid. They incentivize these projects by saying, hey, and there's the infamous 4%. I think they want to pay 1% after 30 days, another 1% after 60, 90 days, and they usually hold the 2% back until it's registered. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Have you seen, now I've worked with, Vicky Shu and some other pre-construction, heavy hitters. I've actually seen recently that they will sometimes give an extra percent. Have you been coming across those?
Yes, it depends upon the marketing company. So most of these builders, they work with a marketing company who are the listing agents for that development. Baker, Milburn, IHMG, International Home Marketing Group, and there are a few others. Everyone have their own set format of doing things. Baker, I've seen in most of their project, they give out 2% and then 2% on closing. So 2% could be 180 days, or nowadays I see once a 10% deposit clears, mortgage pre-approval is in, then they start paying out. So start to pay out. When they say 180 days, you're not getting paid in 180 days. It will be easy 1 to 1.5 years. Once again, it depends upon the developer. So if you need cash upfront, pre-con is not for you. It's like savings. It's you're getting paid when the builder feels like 1 year, 1.5 years from the day you make a sale.
And let's talk about that infamous clawback clause that started creeping up about 6, 7, 8 years ago. Have you been successful in getting that clause out of your co-op agreements?
Charles, market today is so different. It's like, agent going into their bidding war in resale, and you have, there are 40, 50, 60 offers. You're not on the negotiation table. You're not negotiating. You are bidding to get in. Similarly, with the developers, if you don't want to do it, there are 1,000 other agents who will do it. So I have not seen, it's more like, please get us this unit. Please, get me more unit. Then can you remove the clawback clause? It's getting more inventory. The focus has been to getting more inventory, getting more product to sell. And, our company, yes, the clawback clause is here, but our company has paid out. They do make us sign the, some paperwork that if the deal doesn't close, you have to pay back the office. So there hasn't been an issue.
So for those of you who are new to pre-construction, a clawback clause is when a builder inserts a clause in your co-op agreement saying, if the development does not complete, or if your client does not register and close, then whatever commissions that were advanced, and I use that word very seriously, advanced to you, you will owe back to the builder. And RE/MAX West's policy on any agreement where the co-op agreement has a clawback clause, we will not pay that out. However, we will get you, we'll get the agent to sign what's called it's like an advance. And so it's like a promissory note. So if you sign the promissory note and you agree to pay it back, if you owe it back, then we will release a certain percentage, not 100%, but a certain percentage of that money if you absolutely need it. So like you said earlier, we shouldn't have to rely on these projects and these commissions to live our daily lives. You're absolutely right. It's almost like a Christmas gift years later, right?
Unless you're
Okay,
doing
moving
volume.
on.
Unless you're doing a volume, you're 100% focused on pre-con, and you just did 20 deals. So yes, 1 year later or 8 months later, you're getting paid 1% or 2% on those 20 deals. That's a good amount to have. And then
amazing, good advice. So let's talk about this economic viability clause that has popped up in these agreements. And we heard recently, I guess the Guptas pulled Icona out, right? Were you part of that? Did you have any units in there?
I didn't sell, to be honest. I was focusing on other project.
But you heard about it, right?
Gupta, it was I've sold in his other downtown project.
Okay.
But that project, I wasn't so I wasn't part of it. Luckily.
So they had an economic viability clause in their agreements, right? And there were, I believe, 1,100 units affected by them canceling that project. So you've seen this clause, correct?
Not very many though.
Okay.
And we tell our clients we don't get involved in the agreement or reviewing the agreement. We tell them and you know what, within the 10 days, whenever you buy I know this is one of the question, it will all tie in. When you buy a condo, you are provided 10 days cooling off period. We tell our clients it's basically for you to do your own due diligence. Do you have your agreement reviewed? Take it to the lawyer, and it's for your peace of mind. 90% of the time, if they come back with, let's say, 5 or 6 changes their lawyer recommends, builder don't tend to do it because the project is hot. They are in the process of increasing the price. They don't tend to entertain any of that. And I've seen it so many times. So that is why we tell our clients, this is for your own peace of mind. Builder don't tend to entertain any of the changes. And these are mostly standard agreement. And if you're dealing with top developers, not Gupta, new guy, but if you're dealing with top developers, Tridel, Minto, Great Gulf, Daniels, and there are a bunch of them, you are in good hands.
So we recently dealt with, well, not recently, about 4 or 5 years ago, with the folding of Crestford. I've seen.
Oh,
I'm gonna share the story because I think it's important. Imagine Curzon, 50 Curzon, condominium townhouse development, 90% complete. And then when Crestford, I think they had 18 projects on the go. When they folded, not only did we have agreements of purchase and sale on that bankrupt site, we had already assigned some of those to people who were looking to purchase them.
That's a
from
mess.
The actual original purchaser. But and way before that, and this is how old I am, right? Urban Core. So for those of you who are new to pre-construction, is it possible for a developer to go bankrupt? What's the answer? Yes, it's possible. It's not common, but it's possible. So I think what we really need to convey here is the importance on the reputation of the builder that you are bringing forth your client to. There's a lot of small guys out there, and I've dealt with a few of them myself, who wouldn't even pay me after registration for a year and a half. And I had to physically get in my car, find out where their new office location was, and hunt them down to get paid. These guys are sometimes a little sketchy. I think the reputation of the builder is so important when you are considering one of these projects. Would you agree?
I 100% agree. Crestford, talking about Crestford back in the day, yeah, they didn't have good reputation of paying out to agents. And there were, I've heard stories there, they were so much delay in paying out their trades. And yeah, so all the platinums or most of the platinum, we stopped working for Crestford. But again, they did build good product. On Charles Street, you know, their Casa 1, Casa 2, Casa 3 building, and I've sold units there. I didn't focus on that project, but it was the client. Hey, Sunny, this is a look, you know, I am looking at this product. I want to buy here. What do? You take your clients, you sell them. If you don't sell them, somebody else will. And, you know, luckily, Casa 1, Casa 2, Casa 3 building built, closed, and that's a good product.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so moving on to the Condominium Act, which you mentioned, there's a mandatory 10-day cooling off period. Okay, but that begins right after you've signed off on receiving the declaration. And a lot of people that are just entering this field, right, don't fully understand that they have to receive a package from the builder. Why is that so important in your eyes for that provision to be there?
See, getting more into it, nowadays, there's more transparency. Back in the day, 10 days, a lot of people didn't know about it. It was nowhere in the agreement. And when these projects canceled, there was so much pressure on the government and Tarion to be more transparent and to provide all this information to the consumer. So now whenever you sign the agreement, first 2 or 3 pages of the APS, and it says in a paragraph in bold that you have 10-day cooling off period, and make sure to take this agreement to your lawyer to have it reviewed. It says in bold. And also in the first 2 pages of the agreement, which is the Tarion pages, it also says if the development has zoning approval, yes or no, the construction start date, and if they have all the approvals in place for the construction.
So I recently was dealing with a North York lawyer who started charging $50 to review these because he was getting so many of them. Have you seen that? Have you seen the lawyers start to charge?
Yes, you know what? You need to have a relationship with a lawyer. If you're giving them, good amount of business, they, slide it in. They don't charge you.
But you know what? It's buyer beware, right? So if you just started, you have no relationship with this lawyer, you recommended them, and your client sends them the agreement of purchase and sale and the declaration and everything. It takes time, right? It takes time for these guys to actually read through it, because what are they actually doing? They're looking for things, right? They're trying to represent the buyer, but it takes time. Time is money, correct? So I think it's important for everyone that's in this call. Don't be surprised if your lawyer comes back, especially if you bail out of the deal. Like, they're expecting to process this deal. So I do know of some lawyers that will waive the $50, but if you cancel the deal after 10 days, even though they've given a pause, because it's non-discretionary, it's a cooling off period. I can have no reason whatsoever to bail out of this deal and just walk away, even though the lawyer has given a good opinion of this particular agreement and the declaration. So I think
that's the cooling off period is, you can, sign and walk away with the deal. But we educate our clients and we tell them, hey, you know what? Yes, you have 10 days, but that is not for you to think about. That is not for you to, okay, let's buy now, let's sign the deal and we'll think about it later on. No. So it's mindset, how you educate your clients. I tell them, I have one signing happening today, and it's for a luxury product, $1.8 million deal. And the guys were like, let's sign it and we'll worry about it within the 10 days. I was like, no, you be sure of what you want to do. 10 days are there not to think about. 10 days are there for you to answer any questions you might have. Take it to the lawyer, have a peace of mind, review the agreement. But, it's not for you. Let's, just sign it and we'll think about it. If we don't like it, we'll cancel. No, all of this, we do good presentation, we go through the entire product. So there shouldn't be that concern.
You know what? I think also builders, when you do, when they give you allocation or they give you a unit and you bail out of it, I think they're sour grapes there sometimes. So sometimes, as hard as it is to get a unit, it's also easy to lose that reputation with the builder when your client bails out. Would you agree with that statement?
I agree. So Charles, I'll do a little bit of spin here. Yes, in one way, we are representing our clients, but we are working for the builder because they
Yeah.
are the one paying us. They are the one, they want their product to be moved. And if we don't produce, we are out.
Yep. It's
So
true.
we have to like be more, yes, we have to sell the product. We have to sell the inventory, and we also have to take care of the buyer in the most honest way.
Right.
And guide
Right.
them and educate.
Great statement. But you know what? And then that's the elephant in the room, right? who are we really looking for? No, technically we're working for the buyer, but you're absolutely right. I think the builder's expectations have to be addressed. And if you ignore that and you're a cowboy or cowgirl or a cow person, okay, you're probably never going to see allocation from this guy ever again.
Exactly.
Okay, let's keep moving, guys. We're making good time here. It's 10:30 already. Okay. I want to move over to stuff that's contained in that agreement that the lawyer should be looking for, specifically the developmental surcharges, which a lot of newer agents are completely unaware of what that absolutely means, and why is it that we are encouraged to cap the developmental surcharges at the point of negotiating the agreement.
See, back in a day, and I'm going back 2007, 8, and 9, builder, they didn't use to cap the development charges. And first of all, development charges are any let's say if the builder is bringing 600 or 700 or 800 units, that means 800 families, 2,000 or 1,500 residents will be living there. City needs to expand their infrastructure. That could be transportation, that could be sewer system, a school. There could be school. They need to bring in the school if it's a multi-phase development, or parks. So all these development charges goes to the city or municipality. Now, the more city does, the higher the charges are. Let's say if they are bringing a school in, they now have to, there are 4 or 5 buildings, you have 5,000 families living in the community. When it's all built, they need to bring a school. The development charges will be higher. If it's only 1 or 2 towers, then, it just expanding their infrastructure and landscape, and the development charges are less in that case. So back in the day, builder didn't use to cap the development charges. So I know it, and it was in the news as well. So people, they had to pay like $30,000-$40,000 at the closing time because the development charges were not capped. And I'm going back 2007 and 8. And at that time, builder used to cap them. If you take it to the lawyer will say, no, have these things capped, and then you should do a cap at $3,000 or $4,000. Good old days. Nowadays, every single developer, they are providing the development charges as an incentive, and we have seen $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. I was working on a project by Minto in Union Village. Low-rise homes, they were doing the cap at $18,000, I believe.
So related to that are the levies, right? I think education levies.
Education levies and development charges. And what that means is, let's say if your levy charges, development charges and levy charges are capped at $15,000 for the sake of this example, it will not exceed $15,000. Anything less, purchaser pays. Anything more, the developer pays. It could be $10,000, $12,000, $14,000, but it will not exceed $15,000.
Right. So as an educational seminar, I think it's important for people who have never addressed this before to be conscientious of that, because it has a profound effect on closing costs to a prospective purchaser. Moving on. Reserve fund contribution. This is a newer thing that I never actually had on any of my pre-construction projects. Are you finding that, and here's the standard that I've seen coming across my desk, they're taking 2 months of the maintenance fees, they're charging that back to the purchaser, and they're automatically putting that right into the reserve fund just to give it some money when they launch, when the condominium corporation registers, right? Have you seen that being an issue with your projects?
Not at all, Charles, because think about it. When you sold a unit to your clients and they have made $300,000-$400,000 at the time of closing, none of those guys have come back and created an issue about it. Even I am a purchaser myself, I'm an investor myself, and in a couple of the units I did say it. I was like, yeah, it's going to the, it's all good.
Yeah, it's your money, basically, right? But you know what, it slightly modifies the closing costs, right? So when they're looking through the statement of adjustments and they're seeing these extra costs, they're going, well, I didn't know about this, because I think buyers calculate in their heads what they need on closing. And then there's so many unanticipated costs.
Those are small costs. The bigger cost is your development charges, HST, and there's one more, land transfer tax. Land transfer tax is in the city of Toronto. If you're not a first-time buyer, it's 2%. Development charges, yes, if the developer is capping it at 12,000, let's say 12,000, your clients or your buyers are going to pay 12,000. I've seen.
So you've segued perfectly into my next question. Assignments. Now we can do an entire seminar just on that one topic, but why is it important to look at the provisions in the initial agreement of purchase and sale pre-construction, right, on what happens if you want to assign this unit?
Yeah, we have seen lot of assignments now, and builders, they do provide assignments as an incentive. In low-rise, I just bought a low-rise, they usually give the assignment. Many developers, Matt, me, Minto, they are against assignment. They don't provide assignment clause, but usually they charge 20,000. Some developer will charge 30,000 in low-rise product. In a high-rise, it's many builders, they provide the assignment clause for free. Some will charge $1,000 or $1,500. And assignment is a right to assign your contract before occupancy, before occupying your unit. And you bought the unit for 300,000. Now you're selling it for 600,000 at the time of closing, or whenever you're assigning your properties. So the person who is taking over the contract, he will have to pay the profit and the deposit.
So I saw in the comment section, for those of you who, I know what Zoom is a little bit weird. I know that somebody posted an invitation to tomorrow's seminar with Carla Badillo regarding pre-construction financing. So that's going to be a completely separate topic. And as Sunny just mentioned, if you assign it, there's a whole new set of rules that mortgage lenders need to go through in order to successfully get a mortgage on an assignment. So those are obviously questions that you need to ask a financial expert on, and in that way they can.
I can touch base a little bit if you like. I mean, I closed on 2 assignments last year, and it's same as buying a resale. You have a property, and they lenders, they look at your purchase price on assignment. If you bought a unit for 500,000 on assignment, you have to provide, of course, 20%. They will lend you on $500,000 less than 20%.
That's great to know. I think the 5% down phenomenon should not be there. And then I think a lot of newer agents sit there and go, "Oh yeah, they're assigning this. You can just put 5% down with the real estate brokerage, and they can assign this agreement to you." It's just like, well, no, I've seen these agreements come across my desk, and I'm like, mechanically, how is this going to work?
There are very few builders. Like, for example, I give you a couple of examples. Scout condos, you go and you bought the unit for 5%, but they have 2-bedroom units. Literally, you can assign it, but the closing is happening too soon. There's not enough dough. You might not make enough money. But back in the day, Daniels in the Regent Park project, they used to provide 5% deposit. And the cancellation at the time of closing was high, because back in the day, like 3 units, like one bed units, I've sold for 280. I've sold studios here for $190,000, or let's say 200,000. Deposit $10,000. Anybody, even the guy working at McDonald's, can buy that, with his saving of $10,000. But at the time of closing, the builder had a high cancellation rate. People were not able to close, so they changed their deposit to 10%. Now Daniels is no longer part of Regent Park, but this is how back in the day things used to be. But other developers, I've not seen offering 5% or 10% at the initial stages of the project. It's at the later stages, when they have received the construction financing and the project is under construction. That's when they tend to do 10% or 5%.
Right. Okay. Moving into, now, when I first got into this business, it was called ONWIP, the Ontario New Home Warranty Program. Now it's called Tarion. Well, not now, but for a long time it's been called Tarion. So just, I'm dating myself. So talking about Tarion, so in an assignment, as a real estate brokerage, whenever I see an agreement of purchase and sale come across my desk for an assignment, we want the critical dates, like all the Tarion schedules should be there. And I don't think a lot of people, because we don't need the entire agreement to do the assignment here at the brokerage, but it's important that the entire agreement of purchase and sale be a schedule to the assignment of agreement of purchase and sale. And we have, number one, right? We need to know the deposit structure, right? Because if you don't know the deposit structure, you don't know what you're going to owe, correct?
That is correct.
Mathematically, you need to know what the deposit structure is. Secondly, right, we need to know exactly what the dates are, because it's time and money, which is the most important thing to negotiate as a real estate agent. So have you ever seen, now this is going to lead into my next question about, I recently came across someone assigning a pre-construction condo. The original purchaser held on to it long enough to get to the builder's decor center and select the upgrades. They prepaid for the upgrades, but never provided the prepayment of the upgrades in the assignment. Even though they had already paid, not 100, they paid 50%, right, to the builder and said, I've selected about $20,000 of upgrades. They paid them $10,000, but it got completely overlooked by both the buying and selling agent. Have you ever come across these situations?
See, assignments are very, very, very tricky. You have to be careful. You have to go through every single thing. You have to create your own clauses. And I always tell agents, make sure you put the clause, it is conditional upon lawyer's review by both buyers and seller, assignee and assignor. Like something like this might have gotten overlooked, but if the agent asks, okay, give me, they have provided the list of upgrades. Okay, where is it cost? Has it been paid? Who paid it? Okay, 10,000. Where's the additional 10,000? Who's going to pay? Is it paid by this original buyer or the new buyer? And those are the things that one can negotiate when you're doing the contract.
And it drives lawyers crazy.
It does. It's a lot of things in the assignment. So one has to be very, give me one second. One has to be very careful. And once you do one or two or three of those, you get more comfortable.
Right. When I was rehearsing this seminar in my head, I did exactly, I wanted 45 minutes of your time, right? I wanted to reserve 15 minutes. If there was any questions out there, I'm going to click on the chat box here. I think I saw a few things pop up. I'm going to go right back to the beginning. So Jasmine has posted a couple of additional webinars that people might be interested in. Well, we've got 64 people online and 92 people registered. So you're a famous guy, Sonny. So let's talk about, someone was asking about, your experience back in the day. Can you shed a little bit more advice on people that are just starting their pre-construction journey to be pre-construction agents? What additional advice would you give them to, to get started?
See, I said it before, nowadays finding clients are super easy. You have more tools than in 2000s. We didn't have the power of Facebook, Instagram, social media, and social media ads. You put one, I'll share this experience, an example. A couple of 3-4 weeks ago, I was working on a project in Scarborough, and this guy reached out to me, and he reached out to me from Instagram. That resulted same day. He's like, Sunny, I see from your Instagram post you're working on so and so project. Do you have something? And the same day I got the allocation. I got the list of allocation from the realtor. I was like, call me right away. He called me right away. He was so grateful. He wrote me a testimonial as well. We got him the townhome. And you know what? He had an agent. They went to school together. His agent called me as well. They went to school together, and the agent was new. He was trying to get in the hot project at the initial stage. He didn't get any allocation, and his client reached out to me, and I was able to, get in the unit. So Instagram, the power of social media, that sale resulted in $35,000 check, easy. But advice for new agents, if you don't have it, you'll have clients. Put an ad on, spend $200 on Instagram, Facebook, you'll get clients. You'll get people registering. But finding a product, I believe it's the difficult thing at the initial stages. Yes, you can work on the sitting inventory, super easy, but in the very hyped up project, getting the inventory is difficult. So align yourself with somebody who can feed you the product that you need for your clients. Make a sale. Yes, there might be a small percentage, small cut they will charge, but they are also providing that. They're working to get you that product, but make that deal, move on to the next. If you will not make that deal, your clients will find out in 5 to 10 minutes by going on Google and social media that who is working on it. It will take 3 or 4 calls, and they will find out who has a product, and you'll lose them.
Excellent. Suchi was asking a question about following up with the builders for the payments. Is that something that you do whenever you sell one of these projects? Do you follow up with the builders and make sure that your buyers have paid all the deposits?
Nah.
No? Okay.
It's like when you do a sale with a developer. You do a sale, you make sure mortgage pre-approval is in, you make sure all the deposits are in, because that's the criteria of getting paid. And once that is done, then you move on to the next, then next, then next, unless your buyer calls you and they have some questions, you take care of them. Or if there's an NSF, and this is something mentioned in the agreement, if they're NSF or the check goes NSF, they will have to pay a cost. NSF charges could be 500 plus HST, 550 plus HST, 350 plus HST. And then you get copied on the email from the developer that there's an NSF, please have this check replaced as soon as possible or within 7 days.
Right. Now, Mark is asking a very controversial question, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but have you ever given cash back to your clients or a percentage of the commissions back to your clients when they use you?
Very good question. Back in the day, till 2020, I have not, to be honest. I fought. I might have lost 1 or 2 points, but honestly, I was providing them a value, and I used to tell them, it's not right. Yes, it's not right for you to ask. When was the last time you asked your lawyer or a doctor because you're going to them and please give me a cashback? Like, it's not right. It's our hard-earned money. We are providing you a service, and you know what? I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to guide you, help you make tons of dollars. But you know what? Things change. This year, I've seen a lot of competition. I've seen a lot of pressure from my other colleagues, and it came down to in 3 or 4 instances we did provide cashback this year, and it was because we were on the verge of losing those clients. We're like, we already have this unit from so and so, he's doing this. So in my mind, you know what, 3% is better than 0.
You're a business person.
Let's pay the client.
Right? That was a business decision, right?
That was a business decision. Rather than going with the principal. Yes, we get in condominium we get 4%. So to have the client, and client wants to work with us, but he's like, I'm getting so and so with this guy. If you match it, we have a deal. It's like, okay, you know what? Business decision, 3% is better than 0. Fine, we'll take care of you. Done.
Right. So what advice would you give someone who has difficulty getting any allocations? How can they? Do they reach out to someone like you or to all these other platforms? Like, there's no directory on who a platinum agent is for a particular builder. What do they do?
Reach out to someone who is a platinum. Reach out to me. If I'm working on a project, I will try my best to assist you. I've helped recently few agents from our office. I wasn't working on the project. It was a low-rise Applewood, Midhurst, Wilmont, and few other projects. And you know what? I tell these agents, Applewood project, Midhurst, and there were a couple more. Submit your worksheet directly as well if you have the access, and let me also help you. They did that. They didn't get any allocation, but they had backup from me. So yes, I will assist you wherever I can. There are also, if I'm not able to, I'll connect you to somebody or platinum agent or whoever who might be able to help you get started, and you can make a sale.
Great. And for everyone else that's on this call, although I don't personally, I only have one remaining pre-construction commission that I'm waiting for. It's with Diamond Condos. That was the last project that I sold through the builder. But I will tell you this, that I have my own personal list, and Sunny, you're on it, obviously, of platinum agents that I've dealt with in the past. I'm not a greedy person. I think everybody that's on this call has to come to terms with who they are in the eyes of the builder. And if you're not a platinum agent and you need allocation, you have to give up to work with platinum agents, especially in the beginning, before you get your own allocation. You have to give up something, because I don't think platinum agents will want to deal with you if there's not enough money to be made. And that's a statement I think is as blanketed as it is more true than not. And as a platinum agent yourself, Sunny, would you disagree with that?
No, 100%. And you know what? Still, there's more money than resale in a pre-con, even working with a platinum agent. On a condo, we get 4%. And the majority of us, I've taken units from other agents in a hot project. If I'm working on it, I'll be like, I need this, I need this, I need this unit. And you know what? Sometimes I'm giving them the units. It's a trade. And usually the split is we get 4% from the builder on a condominium on most of the sites. And we take, if we are working with other agent, we are giving our allocation, we take 25%. And that's industry standard. It could change from project to project, but standard being 25% referral fee. So in this case, 4%, we take 1% and the agent gets 3%, which is still more than the resale 2.5%.
I'm sorry, Nazanin's asking a question about a project called Art Walk. Can you share any insight on that project?
Yes, it's coming up. It will be launching. It's been delayed. Art Walk is in Vaughan by Smart Living. The guy who is handling the Art Walk, Alex Leong, he used to be director of sales for Great Gulf for the past 8-9 years. Now he's handling the sales for Art Walk. They said it could launch anytime in the next 1 to 2 weeks time.
Excellent.
And I'll share more info.
So people are asking for some of your contact information. What are you willing to share with us? How can people reach out to you, Sunny?
They can WhatsApp. WhatsApp is good. They can call me, WhatsApp me, and then I can respond to them. I'll share my number here.
Okay, you're going to share your number, and you know what? There is a mentorship aspect. I get this question a lot because a lot of agents want to be mentored. It's been difficult the last 1.5 years, 2 years with the pandemic. it's, Sonny, you're a new father. I know that you don't want to expose yourself and your family to anybody out in the marketplace, because you might bring that home to your family. So I completely understand why I haven't seen you in the last 2 years, right? So I think with the slow reopening of our economy, and as an announcement, I am, as of November 4th, I will bring in live, agents back into the office here in the boardroom here in Thornhill, which is where I broadcast this mastermind. I will continue with these online presentations, but for those who hate technology and don't want to look at a screen anymore, you're more than welcome to join me here at the branch. But for the particular agents like yourself, Sonny, there's a varying level of comfort that you would have. Now, you've actually physically, you mentioned to me briefly that you went to a builder's presentation center recently. Is that true?
That was the party. Yeah, that was in June when we were in the midst of, lockdown, and we were also surprised they threw a party. But now I've seen things have opened up. All the builders, or most of them, present. There's a presentation center. You can bring your clients there. So I'm finding, things coming back to normal.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think, you know what, I've actually referred quite a few agents to you, Sonny, over the years. But here's the other big thing, and Vicky, she's another one of my top pre-construction agents. It seems like each platinum agent has a different relationship with different builders. So I think where you're not able to help them on that particular project, there are other agents who have a better relationship with that particular builder to get allocation. Do you find that in your circle?
Look, being in the industry for 17 years now, I have a relationship with almost all the developers, but there's no way we can work every single project. Last 2 months were absolutely insane for us, working 6, 7, 8 launches a week. Now we are close to burning out. We are planning vacations, but there's no way we can work with every single builder and support every single development. So in that case, it's best you reach out to the person who is working that project. If I'm working the project, you can reach out to me, or if I have access, I can certainly help you. But if I'm not working it, you can reach out to another platinum, or I can connect you to somebody. Charles can connect you to somebody who might be working that project and will have access.
Right. Sushil, sorry, I guess I misunderstood the initial question regarding the deposits. It's actually the payments. So in your experience, Sonny, how good are builders and how much do you follow up with them when you think they owe us commission?
Back in the day, I used to, but when you do this a lot and you have, it's a wheel. You have sufficient ones coming. I don't follow up, but recently I did follow up with one builder because I was pissed at them, and it's not I needed money. I was pissed at them. It's been 2 years of chasing, and these guys are horrible. And they even admitted on their email that we are going to pay you in the next 2 weeks. And it's been 7 months now. They stopped responding to the email. And it's not I need that money, but I'm pissed at them. So
hey,
they're
I'm with you on that
builder. There are few builders.
I did a deal with was it Castle Royal, and you know those guys, right? They kept moving their office, right? I couldn't find them, and
I did.
When are you gonna pay me?
Charles, this summer I did a deal with them. It's because the marketing company, I'm friends with them. We go on vacations together. We are planning next vacation, so just to show my support. But it was $1.4 million unit, 4% commission on it, water-facing unit. Look, I should be very happy, but I wasn't happy doing a sale because I know these guys are pain in the ass when it comes to pay. And I might, even after closing, I have to chase them down for a couple of years to get paid.
So, you know what? You've echoed what I already know as a reality of being a pre-construction agent, which is why I really don't do it that much anymore, right? Thank you for providing your phone number, Sonny, 647 898 1665. So you're saying that WhatsApp is a great way. I noticed that you sent me quite a few projects through WhatsApp. So I guess if you guys are connecting with Sonny, hopefully you're using WhatsApp, because I also noticed that all the other pre-construction agents, they love communicating and adding people's phone numbers to their WhatsApp chat groups. So it's an amazing way that you guys have decided to communicate amongst yourself of these upcoming projects. And when you get worksheets, when you get allocation, when you get floor plans, when you get hints of the launches, I think that's great. So the more platinum agents you have part of your discussion groups, the more engaged you are with these groups, the more information that you're gonna get from all these guys. Sorry, I'm just gonna try to get through as many of these questions as possible. So Mark feels a little bit overwhelmed by the number of new condos every day. How does he filter what's good or bad?
See, when you're in the market for so long and, you're dealing with the develop, it's like, you're a resale specialist, you're a specialist of your market. You have an agent doing resale, has a farm area. He or she would know what to look for, how can he generate or maximize more profit for his clients. We know you ask me about Mississauga, I know ins and out of, I know all the developments. You ask me about Vaughan, you ask me about downtown Toronto. I know I've sold so many units there over the years. I know which developments are coming, which one we'll focus on. And we tend to focus on projects where we are going to get allocations.
Right. Okay.
There will have good allocation of units.
So Sanjeev is asking why Remax West can't become an exclusive marketing brokerage, just like Baker or Intercity, so that all 700, we're at 700 agents now, can become platinum agents. Do you see that being realistic?
No, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
I'll share a very quickly. I'll share a story with you. TFN, Dan Foreman, you know that, right? So recently he made a change. He's like join TFN, and bunch of agents, some platinum agents joined his brokerage so that they could get exclusive to Empire projects. You know what? They haven't launched anything. Now their salespeople, Empire salespeople, are leaving them. One joined the other marketing company, the other one joined the other, and there are a couple of them. They were at a senior role. They are helping. They didn't leave them, but they are helping the other marketing companies. And the people who joined TFN last year, they released a project. There were 40 lots, and their agents submitted 200 worksheets. They didn't work with any outside agents. First of all, 200 worksheets and 40 lots. Even that was not enough. So the agents who joined them, they're like, number one, we are not getting the product. A, B, they haven't launched anything. We were doing more production outside.
I have so many stories. I could make this a 2-hour seminar, couldn't we? It's almost like, and someone's actually just mentioned, there's like Vlad has got more questions now than he had at the beginning of the seminar. I think the best thing to do to continue on with this, right, is to probably bring everybody back in once we're in the reopening phase. Probably do this in person, because then we can spend more time with each other. We can feel the questions and field them a little bit better. But once again, your phone, what is this? 647-898-1665 is your phone number. Your email is Sunny, SUNNY, at sunnybatra.com, SUNNYBATRA.com. Guys, reach out to Sunny. He is one of our top you won the award. We haven't had a winter gala. You were the last reigning champion of pre-construction intercompany. So until we have one of these galas again, I have no idea who our top pre-construction agent is. I imagine Vicky's up there somewhere. I do, she's incorporated. Oh, just a sort of a side note to you guys. When you incorporate and open up your own brokerage with your own trust account, sometimes that's a little bit of an advantage in the pre-construction industry. because you have your own trust account. You can manage how the money goes in and out of a little bit better, which is why Vicky chose to go the sub brokerage route. But Sonny, you're an agent still with Remax West. You're just like the rest of us, and you're subject to basically the same rules and structure as any other average agent, but you have done something different. You have worked your butt off, right, to get in with these guys to become a platinum agent. And I think the fruits, from what you did way back long time ago, are now starting to ripen and fall off the tree. Am I correct?
That is correct. And Charles, I quickly want to answer someone's question. I got a direct message about landing pages. I believe if you're a new agent, hiring a web developer, landing pages, CRM, that's a lot of work. The easiest way is Instagram and Facebook ads. You can you can modify your ads, and you can see the performance, and you can bring the cost of every registration down. You don't need a landing page. You can just put an ad, register, and then they register and the lead comes to you, or you can connect to your CRM, let it be Constant Contact or any CRM. That's the easiest way to get started.
And also, I want to caution people about Facebook and Instagram. There are fake condominium projects on Facebook and Instagram. I've made the accident, right, by clicking on one. Okay? The tallest tower in Toronto being constructed. If you want information about it, click on this link. I'm just like, what? And that's exactly how it was portrayed, and it was totally fake, right? These people, it's all clickbait, right? They're trying to get your information, and then lo and behold, people are impersonating other people out on Facebook, out on Instagram, and it's an absolute joke. So we do have to be wary about some of the stuff that's being advertised on these platforms. I know that I met actually a security person from Facebook who relocated from California to Ontario, is handling all the security up here in Canada, because it's obviously we have different laws up here. When we relocated them, the stories that this person from Facebook shared with me was astounding at what people are attempting to do with that platform in order to get people to provide their personal information. So guys, please take any of those posts. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. But Sonny, I don't think that's what you're doing. All you're doing is creating awareness with the projects that you have access to. And I honestly believe that if you know Sonny's cell phone number and you have him on WhatsApp and you're part of his pre-construction circle, that you will get notified whenever a platinum agent like himself gets allocation. So we've run out of time. We've gone overboard actually by 8 minutes. But I want to thank you, Sonny, for joining us. I think this was incredibly informative. For those of you who are not following Sonny, you're probably gonna have a few more followers after today. And you know what? I look forward to actually having you back in person. Would you be okay with that?
100%.
Okay, wonderful, guys.
Forward to meet everybody in person.
Yes, exactly. We're all looking forward to that. So thank you, everybody, for joining us, and I look forward to seeing everybody in person very shortly. Until then, take care.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, everyone.